So I've done all the things. I just restarted the computer and rebooted the webcam and everything. So hopefully this is working. See me, I can see the chat and I'm not blurry. Otherwise, I have no idea what to do because this has never been a problem and I'm not sure if we continue or not. So hopefully this resolved the issues. I've just been having some technical difficulties with YouTube this morning, and now nobody is in here because they can't see the new stream, and it's just frustrating. There's actually been some technical issues with YouTube as well when it comes to comments and stuff, where it's not showing me some comments. Aaron says it's still blurry. Well, crap. I don't know what else to do, guys. Should I still continue? Aaron says I should still do the stream. I don't know. I just feel really weird leaving a video up that's blurry like this. But okay, you guys are voting for still streaming. Oh gosh, Sebastian says it's more blurry. Here, do I need to? Oh, now I really went blurry. Oh, I think it was just laughing it off. No, it wasn't Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves wasn't from the 70s. Ooh, now it looks really crisp on my end. So I don't know what's going on. I think you all are just crazy. I think that maybe everybody here just is drunk this morning. Hello, Road Wolf BSB. I love it. Wolves and the Backstreet Boys. Love it, love it, love it. David says you can dance all you want now. Is it distractingly blurry or just a little offset? Aaron says, are there video settings on the YouTube stream? Not that I can see, no, other than asking which camera I want to use, and I'm using the only one I have set up. So, yeah, so Chris says, looks like you need a router modem reboot. I rebooted the modem the second time to see if that would fix it. Sebastian says, you're pretty even if blurry, haha, not distracting, we can hear you. Okay, so you know what? I'm just going to give the little spiel again, and we're just going to dive back in where we were. So as always, I just have to say, for those that are watching later, that I am not a mental health professional. Anything I say is based on my experiences or the experiences that others that I've interacted with. So if you are having a mental health crisis, please make sure that you reach out and get the help that you deserve. It can get crazy here in the chat, and I'm not sure how it's going to be today with things as they are, but if you're wanting to make sure that I see a message, please make sure you use that super chat or super sticker function. That will highlight it for me, and every dime goes toward my mental health outreach. So for the last several streams, I've been setting a goal of reaching 250 in pledges to go toward my mental health outreach and to go toward some of the things that we are doing as a community. And as I said, in the last 2 weeks, I got to throw a birthday party for an elderly widow who didn't have any family or anyone and was going to be all alone. So I got to throw a little birthday party for her, got therapy for 2 people for a month, one including a veteran, and then got a train ticket for a veteran who has stage 4 pancreatic cancer, who just wanted to see the beach. So we got him a train ticket to California. So that's what we've done in the last 2 weeks with pledges. Let's see what we can do in the next 2 weeks. Tyler the Superman says, hello, how are you doing? I am doing awesome, except for the fact that apparently my stream is blurry, but I think this is just kind of one of those lessons that we do the best we can, and if things aren't perfect, that's okay. I have been trying really hard for a long time to let go of my need for perfection, so maybe this is just the lesson that I'm learning to do. So maybe you all can just imagine that we're back in 1997 and the internet is still new. So I'm just refreshing. I think I remember it was in 98 because I was trying to download pictures of Justin Timberlake that I could print. And it took 5 minutes for every picture to download. So I think a lot of the people here in the chat can appreciate that the internet wasn't always crisp and 4K. Kimberly says the hospital failed me. Well, what is going on? Hopefully we can help or give some insight or possibly help you figure something out. Francisco says, oh God, I remember that dial-up internet. And hello to your 5-year-old daughter. Hello back. Sean Mason says, been sober for 6 years. Give some snaps. I mean, we're not doing snaps quite yet, but I'm going to give snaps anyway because I would hate to forget any snaps. Yeah, I remember when I wanted to get on the internet and couldn't because my parents were on the phone and my dad was from upstate New York and loved to chat and was the type of person that would say goodbye about 8 times before actually ending a conversation. So I think that's where I get it when I have phone conversations. They always tend to be several hours long. I can never just call someone and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know this. All right, I'm going to go bye. No, it's always a 3-hour conversation. Last says, K56 modem screaming at you for what seemed like hours. I I love the Metroid series, but there's a character in it called Ridley. It's one of the bosses that just makes this god awful screeching sound where to the point of it's a more difficult boss later on in the game. And I remember just muting that part because I just couldn't take it, or at the very least turning it down because oh my god, I'm gonna have a panic attack right now. And that kind of reminds me of the repetitive dialing sounds, just this repetitive screeching, really loud screeching. Kimberly says, I tried to get admitted and they said I was fine and sent me home. Then I almost overdosed the next day. Yeah, that's not responsible of the hospital. I hope that you are able to connect with someone else. Is there a crisis service in your town? Or you could always call the suicide hotline. They could help connect you with resources in your town or another hospital, because that's not how it's supposed to be. That's not how hospitals are supposed to react to that kind of situation. I hope that you are safe now and that those urges have passed, but you do deserve to get the mental health treatment that you are needing right now. So let us know what we can do to help you find resources or help support you. George says, you're not that old. I don't believe it. Yeah, yep, it's true. Francisco says, I remember my mom saying, get off the internet. I need to use the phone. Josh Galactic Republic Gaming says, your content's amazing. Thank you. Apologize for the blurriness today. I promise that I am more gorgeous than this. It's just the internet is trying to mute my beauty because I just don't think everyone can handle it today. I must just look so amazing today that if I wasn't blurry, you all would be blind. So I guess we should be thanking the internet today for protecting all of you. Hello, Edward. We need to just sing before Edward leaves. Yes, we will do snaps before good news today. How's that? Kimberly says, I go to counseling, but I need to be away from temptations of texting my ex and people not understanding. As someone who definitely has been down that rabbit hole of texting people or staying connected to people that I know aren't good for me, I got to the point where I realized that with some people, it just had to be completely no contact, and I deleted their numbers and I blocked them on social media. And that really helped me because I was the type of person, if it was there, if the temptation was there at all, I too would get into it and I'd lean into it. But now I've gotten to a point where I recognize my worth and I realized that I was doing that because I wanted their validation. I wanted to know that they loved me, even though I knew that love wasn't the type of love I deserved. I deserve better than that. Actually, at the time, I didn't know that, but I think deep down inside we do. But I think the only way to handle situations like that is no contact. Block them, delete them, and no contact, because otherwise the temptation is going to be there. So do everything you can to remove that temptation. Well, David says it's a clear screen. See, I admitted my beauty and now it can radiate out into the world. So the internet heard me and got offended. No more blur. I'm happy. I'm glad. I'm glad that things are now going to work out. So at David's request, we're going to do snaps before the good news because we want to make sure that Edward is here for that because it's his favorite part, guys. It really is. I know that he says otherwise, but deep down, I know that this is his favorite part. So for those of you that are new, the Snap Cup is inspired by Legally Blonde 2. It's just a way that we can share warm fuzzies with the community. Mental health wins. So every week, I always make sure to post over in the community. I'm sorry, every other week, but I'm meaning to do every week so we can acknowledge either way. I post over in the community so that we can share mental health wins with each other here on the stream. So that comes with a song. Thank you, Aaron, for the pledge. Snap cup time, gather ye round. Friends and foes together, united and bound. Pass it to your neighbor instead of blowing up, and you'll find harmony and love in a snap cup. Yay! Edward got to be here for it today. So I was gonna say, David, you will understand this. The keep putting snaps in the cup song that you had requested that I did over in Patreon was in my head this morning. So I was just singing that over and over in my head this morning. So thanks for that. Alrighty. Skull Crusher says, mental health wins for me. Playing Mortal Kombat, it helps with being violent without actually being violent in real life. Well, snaps to you for finding that way to channel your shadow. For me, it's the channel Dead Meat, who does kill counts. And I can totally relate to that sometimes you just need some place to channel your anger and you just need a kind of playground for your shadow. And I think so long as we're paying attention to how we feel when we do these things. So if you're playing a game and it's making you want to engage in violent behavior, then we probably need to step away from that. But if we're playing this game and it's helping bring down our anger, then that's a great thing. I remember talking to a previous therapist and I said, whenever my partner and I get in a fight, I will go watch The Purge, the second Purge, actually. And I watched that movie a lot, by the way, during that time period. But I said, is that unhealthy? Because I'm really struggling and I'm feeling a lot of anger. And she said, well, when you watch it, is it making you want to harm yourself or your partner? Or is it bringing down your anger? If it's bringing down my anger, she said, then that's fine. So with the approval of a mental health professional, we shall keep on with our kill counts and Mortal Kombat. Thank you, Ben, so much. Warrior Poet says, hey, the stream looks clear now. Glad I'm waking up and my eyes are starting to focus. Jake Smith says, I paid off my student loans this week. It feels so good to not deal with that anymore, and I can focus more on my money managing. Snaps to you for paying that off. I actually was starting to think that people who actually paid off their student loans were unicorns, that they didn't really exist, because I don't know anyone personally, I don't think, that's actually paid off their student loans. At least if I know anyone like that, I've never had that conversation with them, but I know I still owe a lot of money on mine. So I imagine that will be a very good feeling. And I'm proud of you for finally being able to do that. I know it can take a very long time, and I'm sure it does feel very good. And there are a lot of people that are jealous of you right now. Metal Mark says, you've unblurred, and now we see your beauty in all its glory. Last Madsen says, God, I am so glad student loans aren't a thing here. Yeah, it is one of the downfalls of this society. Putums FTW says, I used to get super nauseous and vertigo around groups of people, preventing me from going out. But the new meds I have work wonders, and I was actually able to spend Christmas with the family. A small win to some, but it was a big win for me. Snaps to you for finding something that works for you and being able to get past those symptoms. I know at one point I had really bad, I just had really bad anxiety with any people, actually, not just groups of people, with any people. And it was so freeing when I finally realized that those symptoms were mine reduced over time. It wasn't just an all at once thing, but it feels so good. But I do have to say, guys, stop downplaying your wins. Every single time I post in the community for the wins, there's always at least one person that's saying, I know this is smaller. I know this isn't a big deal. It's a huge deal. Stop downplaying yourselves. It's a huge deal. This is a huge deal, and I'm proud of you. Oh, this one's what? Oh, yeah. Bryston put one in here. Bryston, my son, he's 12, used his skills to control his bus with his little brother. Bryston, if you are watching at a later time, snaps for you. Give Bryston some snaps. So for some context, his bus is what he uses to describe his symptoms, his shadow in a way. So when he loses control and he snaps or he says something he doesn't mean or he gets upset or he dysregulates, he calls that his bus driver taking over or losing control of his bus. So Bryston used the skills that he's been learning to control his bus with his little brother, which is a huge win, and I'm very proud of you, little guy. Mwah. Je t'aime, mon loulou. Metal Mark 12 says, I'm glad I got my college education when a formal education was reasonably priced. Yeah, it's not anymore at all. Ben M, oh, we didn't have a lot of snaps this week. Keep putting snaps in the cup. Ben M says, I've been actively social through what is typically the worst mental health month of the year. For the first time in a decade, I did not ruminate on a terrible anniversary. My present overruled my past. Ever onward. Love it. Snaps for Ben M. I still find traumaversaries or anniversaries of certain things to be challenging, but I'm finally starting to shift them into celebrations instead of mourning. And it took me a lot of years, especially with my parents' deaths, to be able to do that, but I have been shifting more in that direction. So I am very proud of you. I know that that is a huge milestone in our mental health journeys and in our healing journeys. So big snaps for Ben M. Edward says, snaps for all. David Gab says, I forgot my win of the week, introduced Amanda to Rammstein. Yes, you did. Kimberly Bett says, I didn't text my ex for 2 days and my parents was like, you should have done that since you broke up. They don't get it. It is very complicated and it is very confusing. It's a confusing time because our urge, our instincts tell us to reach out to this person because at some point we had a very deep connection with this person. Something that actually really helps me because it's not that I text certain people per se, but if I'm not careful, I can really fall into just playing on my phone for no reason. So I put an app on my phone. It's called Flora, Flora, and you can set it for several hours so that it kind of it brings this plant up, and it doesn't lock your phone, but it shows the plant growing. So it shows your growth, right? And then if you close that and you go to text or anything, then it will kill the plant. So it's just kind of a visual that's really helped me. And if I'm feeling those urges kick up, or if I'm realizing that I've been on my phone texting for longer than I'd like to, then I turn that on and put my phone down. And then it's kind of a visual when I pick it up of, do I really want to kill my progress? Do I really want to do that? So just a suggestion that has really helped me in dealing with my urges and stuff when it comes to my phone. Tyler the Superman says, Amanda, you must be an astromech droid because you are too good looking. Thank you. Pickup line. Well, thank you. Josh Galactic Republic Gaming says, speaking of socializing, I've fallen into one of my phases of not wanting to interact with anyone at all. Any advice for how to get out of that? Well, it depends on why you're doing it. So there are times where we just need to rest and we just need to take time away from socializing. And I tell my friends this, I might not talk to you for weeks, and that doesn't mean I don't love you or I don't care about you and I'm here if you need me. But sometimes I just need to break away, right? But when it comes to those times when the depression symptoms start kicking up, or the anxiety starts kicking up, or the agoraphobia starts kicking up, then that's something that kind of needs to be addressed in a different way. And one of the things, there's several things that helped me. One is, I don't know if you have a safe person, but just starting to go and do little things with that safe person. So if you have a partner or a best friend or a sibling or something that you feel more comfortable going out with, having that person just to make it feel more comfortable can be very helpful. Going out for short periods of time. So just telling yourself, you know what, I'm just going to go get myself a tea at Starbucks or something, or I'm maybe a local coffee shop. I try to stay local when I do things like that, or I'm just going to go watch a movie, something that doesn't require a whole lot of social interaction. I'm just going to go for a walk in the park, or I'm just going to compliment someone for something. So breaking it down into maybe little daily goals of, I really want to compliment 3 people today, or I really want to see a person today. So I'm going to make plans with my friend for lunch, or just, talk for a few minutes with my friend on the phone, maybe work up to it. But it's kind of like exposure therapy. When we get to that point, it's important to break it down and take small steps. So instead of saying, I need to go to this big party Friday night and socialize with everyone there, I need to go to this big event where there's going to be lots and lots of people, we want to try to break it down and make it more, make it easier to achieve the little goals that build up to what we're really aiming for. So I did an exposure therapy vlog a while back. David, can you link that? That talked about what I was doing because I was having anxieties toward certain things and what I was doing to overcome those. So maybe that will help, but I hope that advice helped. Josh says, ew, parties. I actually don't like parties either. I can be a social person if I need to be. I can be in big group settings if I need to be. But number one, I don't host things at my house because I'm the type of person that when I'm done socializing, I'm done. I don't want to have the awkward interaction of telling you to get the hell out of my house. It's okay, I've had my fill of socializing now and I'm going to leave. Bye. And that's it. Especially if I start to get those anxiety symptoms and stuff. The interesting thing is I'm a really extroverted introvert. So I love interacting. I love talking to people. I love learning about people's stories. And I will have an hour-long conversation with a complete stranger in a Macy's bathroom and learn their entire life story. But I also, when I do go out and I am social, it kind of just drains my energy little by little. So when I come home, I need to do something for myself. And that's my other bit of advice is when you do something, so whatever it is you're doing to be social, when you come home, take time to decompress because being social can be exhausting for some of us. So take time to decompress and make sure that you're just doing something you enjoy after that. It's kind of a little treat to really reiterate to your brain, this is a good thing. This was something that I did for myself to help myself grow and break out of my comfort zone. And something that a lot of people don't want to acknowledge is there are things that make all of us feel uncomfortable. Stats class. Stats class makes me feel uncomfortable, wildly uncomfortable, way out of my zone, way out of my area of expertise. I definitely am really challenged by that. But I go anyway because I know that to reach the goals I want to reach, I need to do that. So I do it uncomfortable. I do it scared. I do it feeling like a complete idiot. I do it anyway. And when we tell ourselves, well, maybe I could do this. No, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to stats class. I'm going to go out for 15 minutes. I'm going to go get that coffee. When we say, when we really don't give ourselves the option, it's a lot easier to just put one foot in front of the other and break it down into steps. So it's right now I'm just going to get dressed. Right now I'm just going to get my car. Right now I'm just going to drive there and breaking it down into steps. So I hope that helped. Josh says, I'm an introverted extrovert. I spend 90% of my time on social media and I'm a YouTuber, but I can't stand interacting in person with people. Well, I feel like actually spending too much time on social media actually makes us more susceptible to anxiety and stuff and makes it harder for us to interact with people in real life because we almost, I don't want to say we're somebody we're not because this is definitely who I am and I'm sure that you're being authentic on your channels as well. But I feel like at the very least we don't share everything. You know, we're not being most people. I mean, here I am telling you about my whole entire life story, but most people kind of edit and filter what it is they post, and they're posting their highlight reel. So then we're comparing that to our behind the scenes, and we're feeling like we're not enough, and we're just giving ourselves a really hard time for not being someone else. We're comparing ourselves to someone else's social media. So for me, I'm a content creator here, but it's gotten to the point where I schedule, okay, I'm going to make this video, I'm going to post it, I will reply to comments during these hours, but there is no way that I can be on it all the time because it jacks my anxiety symptoms through the roof and I will become a recluse. David, thank you. He says, Art Star 2, Amanda, my wife died from suicide almost 4 years ago. What advice do you have for the spouse that feels guilty, that feels they didn't do enough, like myself? Thanks, Ryan. Oh my gosh. David, thank you for bringing that post to my attention. I didn't see it with the craziness here. So there's a couple things in that. Is I think that is a theme amidst people who lose someone, whether from suicide or not, but most commonly from suicide because we feel like we could have stopped it. But like with any other disease, and depression is a disease and suicide is a symptom of that disease, like with any other disease, we can encourage people, we can guide people, we can try to teach people, but we can't get in their heads, we can't get in their bodies, we can't force them to do what we know could help them. And when they're in that dark place, and I know this is someone who's been here, and I'm sorry that I didn't say I'm really sorry for your loss. I know how traumatic and tragic that is, and I'm sorry that I didn't lead with that. But when we're in that dark place, our thoughts are not ours. And everything that we say or do or think is filtered through the depression. So even if normally we know that we're loved and we know that we're cared for and we have these people that love us, when we're depressed, we don't see that. And unfortunately, when someone is to the point of losing their life to suicide like that, they're not thinking clearly. They don't see that. And there's not really anything that any person can do or say to stop that. And if there is, we just don't know what that is. We don't know what that person needs to hear, or if there was anything that could have been said. In many cases, I don't think that you could say anything that would snap a person out of it. When I was on that ledge, my best friend could have said, I love you and I don't want to lose you and I need you. And my brain would have said, yeah, you're lying and this is what you really want and this is better for you. So our thoughts are just so distorted. I think that, number one, grief groups are very, very helpful. So if you're not already in a grief groups are very helpful to be able to process a lot of this stuff. Number two, I think finding ways to honor that person and still connect with that person's memory. I talk about that a lot here, whether through suicide or not. When we lose somebody, the best way that we can start moving through that process is to find ways to honor them and to be able to live the life that they didn't get to, live the life that they couldn't. So how can you take her legacy and help it carry on? How can you help her memory carry on? And maybe that's just sharing memories here with the community so that we can help keep her memory alive. Maybe she had a passion, something that she really enjoyed doing, something that she really liked, that you can now carry on. Or maybe she had a cause that she really was very passionate about, very involved in, that you could then also get involved in. But take it from someone who was there, who was literally on the ledge, who had nothing else to live for, felt had nothing else to live for. The thoughts in the brain is so distorted that there's really nothing that you can say or do to get through to that person. So I know that if I would have lost my life to suicide, let's just say I lost my life to suicide and there's an afterlife and I'm sitting up there, I wouldn't be looking down at my loved ones now, obviously being able to see from a different perspective. I wouldn't be looking down at my loved ones saying, you didn't do enough, you didn't save me. I'd be seeing the bigger picture of, wow, this depression really distorted these people that love me. They kept this love from me that I wasn't able to connect with. And I would desperately hope that the people that I left behind, the people that were still there, could find ways to honor my memory. In my case, I would want people to carry on this mental health work and be able to help other people. So I try to think of it as from the perspective of the other person. So instead of trying to see things from your own perspective, which I know can be very difficult, see things from her perspective on the other side. You know, that now she's found peace, and it's really about, what would they tell you? What would she tell you? What would she want you to do? And I think that spending some time reflecting on that can be really cathartic. But it only comes when you realize that depression very much distorts reality. Bye, Edward. David says, Amanda's story is similar to The Bold and the Beautiful. You're not wrong. There's been times that it's freaked me out because my story starts running kind of in tandem with whatever storyline is going on the soap opera at the time. So it's actually happened before. Chris Foster says, I'm a pessimist with optimistic tendencies. I think something good is going to happen, just not to me. That's very interesting. And I think that probably comes from thinking that good things happen to people that deserve them. And that's a logical fallacy, that we assume that good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people. And if we see ourselves as a bad person, then we're going to say, I only deserve bad things. So the way to shift that mindset is learning how to shift your perspective on yourself, because once you see yourself as a good person, and if you don't, then start making changes to be what you define as a good person. And then once you start seeing, hey, there's nothing that really separates me between that person. There's no reason that that person deserves happiness or luck or anything like that more than I do. So I think that shifting your perspective, learning to love yourself again, because a lot of us lose that along the way, learning to love yourself again can be very helpful. I just realized we didn't read our good news story because we did the snaps first and we did the wins of the things that we've been doing with the pledges. So like I said, we have that goal to hit 250 by the end of stream, which is in about 20 minutes. So let's see what we can do, how close we can get this time. If we can get there, I believe we can get there. I believe in you guys. But the news story is 4-day week, major breakthrough as most UK firms in trial extend changes. So apparently a lot of different companies in the UK took on this trial to have 4-day work weeks instead of 5 or 6 or 7-day work weeks. Here we have 6 and 7-day work weeks. I feel like we have 8-day work weeks and there's not even 8 days of the week. But the UK has decided to do a trial of 4-day work weeks, and nearly all companies taking part ought to continue with new pattern as staff report better work-life balance. So here's the ironic thing, by the way, is a lot of people wear it as a badge of honor that they work 60 or 70-hour work weeks. The thing is it is actually impossible to hold your productivity that long. So you're being less productive, whereas opposed to if you had shorter work weeks, if you worked fewer hours, you would actually be more productive during that time. So you're burning yourself out to the point where you're not even being as productive in those extra hours. So you're working extra for no reason. Thank you, Erin. Erin says, come on, we can get to 250 for once. We were so close last time. So close. Thank you, babe. Let's see if we can do it. But the vast majority of companies taking part in the world's largest trial of a 4-day week have opted to continue with a new working pattern in a result hailed as evidence that it could work across the UK economy. Of the 61 companies that entered the 6-month trial, 56 have extended the 4-day week, including 18 who have made it permanent. The findings will be presented to MPs on Tuesday as part of a push urging politicians to give all workers in Britain a 32-hour work week. Joe Ryle, the director of the 4-day week campaign, called the trial a major breakthrough moment, adding, across a wide variety of sectors, well-being has improved dramatically for staff, and business productivity has either been maintained or improved in nearly every case. So that's just evidence that working harder isn't always working smarter. So driving yourself into the ground and putting in 60 hours or 50 hours or even 40 hours can burn you out. Not only is it affecting your mental health, it's affecting your productivity. So nothing really good comes from running yourself into the ground like that. Erin says she called me babe. David, I love that in a lot of German cities, Sundays are family days. No work and shops are closed. No shopping or working, just spend time with your family or spend time with yourself. I think this idea that we constantly have to be doing something, which I really struggle with, is a huge misconception. You know, it's something that is being glamorized by these, be a boss babe and never give up. These things sound inspirational, but they really wind up being toxically productive. There is toxic productivity where you feel like you have to constantly be doing something. And I have to very, very consciously take time for myself every single day, every day. I take time to do the things that I enjoy or that bring me peace, because otherwise I'd go insane. And I think every person, if that's all they do is work and sleep and eat and poop, if that's all they do, then what is the point? What's the quality of life? And that's something that I really struggle to comprehend is, okay, you're working 60-hour work weeks and making a lot of money. Let's say you're a doctor and you're making a lot of money, but you never get to see your family. You never get to enjoy your life. You never get to do anything at all. You're a slave to this job. So all the money you're getting, you're not even getting to enjoy. You have a big house that you never spend time in with a family you never get to interact with. I mean, what's the point, you know? Middlemark says, I don't see 4-day work week working in the US. The plutocracy is too strong here in the US. I think that it would take a mind shift here to really get that going. David Gabb says, that is why we have 12-hour energy in Starbucks on every corner. Work, work, work. And I see that. I see that all the time with students. I even see it with the teachers where they're just pounding energy drinks because they don't allow themselves to rest. And then they wind up depressed because they don't have enough deep rest. But I see what I did there. But I think that it's counterproductive. The constant working, the having to literally take drugs because caffeine is a drug, literally having to take drugs every single day just to function in your life. It's like, why would you do that? I mean, I did do that for a long time, and now I look back and go, why? I hated my life. I hated myself. I hated my job. I resented everyone around me all the time. It's just, I think we need to start figuring out how to move away from this idea of toxic productivity and this idea of working ourselves into the ground. Aaron can't be the only pledger today, guys. Come on. Lisa Matson says, some people have huge social batteries, others not so much. Totally normal. I think mine's about a AAA. Somewhere in the middle. It's not the little tiny watch batteries, but it's certainly not a Prius battery either. Just like Jesse from Saved by the Bell. I'm so excited. Every time I hear that song, it breaks off and does Jesse's little, I'm so scared. Yes, Ben and David did pledge you. You are correct. And I love you all. Warrior Poet did it too. You all did it. Everybody from the 90s, the second they read David's post, everybody saw Jesse breaking down. I'm so scared. That scene broke my heart even at the time because yeah, we are kind of all Jessie in this society where she put so much on herself that she couldn't functionally keep up with all of it. And a lot of people do that where it's, you know what, I'm going to just have all of these different projects and all of these different responsibilities. And if you don't break them down and you don't pace yourself, you're gonna crack. David just said Aaron Butler is a babe. Oh my God, I love you guys so much. Lapis on the Moon says, I really have energy drinks, and when I do, it's only for taste. I do the little magic mind shots, but even then I only do half, and the caffeine content is barely noticeable because I would absolutely freak out. I will have a panic attack to caffeine. So here's the deal. I'm going to school and working and upkeeping the channel and working on my other big projects and being mom and being girlfriend without any energy drinks or caffeine. You know why? Because I take care of myself, because I make sure that I'm feeding my body the energy that it needs. And there's times where I do have to take a step back and say, you know what, we're all just going to chill today. I can't really do anything about school except on certain days try to get ahead a little bit more so that way I can pace myself through the rest of it. But I showed this on my school vlog. I actually have a very specific planner that helps me break down my tasks, but also make sure that I'm keeping that work-life balance. So I think I found a really good one. Ben says only. Thank you. Thank you for the pledges. Aaron says, I always think you say magic mic shots. That's because you can read my mind, honey. You can read my mind. Frosty Poo says, I need some green tea so I can start drinking that instead of coffee. Green tea is amazing. There was a time where before I had the super caffeine sensitivity that I used to drink green tea, and it was super, super helpful. So green tea can be pretty amazing. But I think at the end of the day, it's really about our sleep maintenance, whether we have good sleep hygiene. It's about whether we're eating healthy, whether we're drinking enough water, all these different things, whether we're overexerting ourselves. Because if we're working these 60-hour work weeks, so if we're just constantly on our social media, scrolling all day, if we have these toxic habits, then that is causing our brains to overprocess, because when we finally get into bed at the end of the day, our brain is now trying to process all of the stimulation that has been input into it, and it really has a negative impact on sleep. Art Star, thanks for your response, of course. David says, Aaron, that's what I call them. It sounds like a mommy's little helper med for her man. Oh my God. I can't breathe. I can't breathe today. Thanks. Victor says, I got to go to the doctor, needs to talk about his surgery. I hope everything's okay. Ups on the Moon says, I think I may wait until winter's done to try to get a job because it'd be easier with everything going on to not deal with snow and ice. I grew up in snow and ice. I understand. Middle Mark 12 says, thankfully we're gaining sunlight hours here in the Northern Hemisphere. Glad you're coming back into the light with us. Whoa, I think I'm getting messages late here. David is talking to Artstar 2. You feel guilty because you loved her. That shows how much you cared. And in reference to the conversation we were having earlier about him losing his wife. Yes, I agree. Josh says, my sleeping schedule is non-existent. Some nights I'll go to bed at 8 and get up at 5 when my alarm goes off. Sometimes I wake up at 3 and can't get myself to fall back asleep. It's really important. And I think that how much time we're spending on screens, how much time we're spending just with ourselves, reflecting, thinking, allowing ourselves that mental break, what we're eating, whether or not we're processing our thoughts and our challenges and stuff throughout the day. That's something I'm needing to do more of because I have all of these thoughts. And of course, I'm human. I have these anxiety symptoms and stuff. And I'll get kind of overwhelmed from time to time because sometimes I just forget to deal with them. I'll say, not right now, Shadow, or not right now, thoughts. And I'll push on with whatever I'm doing and then never give them their time. So then at 2 a.m, it's, hey, remember me? I'm still here. And now you have to deal with me. Thanks. So I think I have a big goal to get back into journaling because that was really helpful for me. So I think I'm going to do a little bit of that tonight because my sleep was a little bit all over the place for a while too. And it's better. It's better. It was really good. And now it's mediocre, but it's definitely better than it was. Oh, Victor, it's not Victor. It's Mark. Victor was shot by a gang in his neighborhood. Victor can't catch a break. I really hope that, number one, they serve justice to whoever did that. Number two, I hope that he is okay. Ben says, it's the 60-hour work week that nearly killed me in June last year. A hell of a wake-up call. Glad you got the call. Artstar 2 says, have you heard the new Metallica song about suicide? No, but I will get around to it. I just haven't yet because I just did a Metallica reaction not too long ago and I tried to space out the artist. But please don't tell me anything. I like to go in completely blind. I like to go in blind. It is on my list. Yes, thank you. Les Madsen says, if you wake up and can't fall back asleep, get up and do a little thing, then try again. Consciously, you will have to train your brain and body to know that your bed as a place of sleep. Yeah, I talked about that in one of my videos about insomnia and night terrors and things like that, that your bed has to be sleep and sex. Your bed can't be, and I have to lecture myself sometimes about this, it can't be homework and reading and doing your taxes and having really long phone conversations. It can't be stimulating things. The bed is sex and sleep, and that's it. Hey, Nick. Or hey, because Nick said hola, hola. Ben's right. Burnout takes a lot longer to recover from than it does to instigate. Metamark 12 says, it's been shown in studies that productivity goes down after 6 hours of working and more dramatically after 8 hours. That's what I was saying earlier. Yep. Should I make another video just kind of on sleep maintenance? I know I've done videos on insomnia and I know I've done videos on night terrors and stuff. Maybe I should do one on sleep maintenance because I'm about ready to do another vlog or a tips video or something. So I would love to hear your feedback because I tried to do, several of the reactions and then do a vlog or some kind of tips video. So what would be most helpful for you guys for me to do as far as a vlog or a tips video? I would love to hear some feedback. Josh says, well, I keep my phone far enough away that I can't reach it without having to move. So it's not the phone that's the problem. It's just that I can't get myself to sleep some nights because my thoughts go everywhere. But even if you're keeping your phone away from you at night, if you're spending a lot of time on your phone or screens during the day, that can still affect your sleep at night, especially if you're on them close to bedtime. So if you're not giving your brain enough time before bed to to wind down. Secondly, racing thoughts. Yeah, I struggle with that too. And doing the burn journals really helped me, where I would just spend maybe 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes before bed and write down everything in my mind, whether it made sense or not. I just write down everything, just free write for 10, 15 minutes and then burn it, because it was this very physical release. It was a release that I could see, you know, it was very visual, and I'm a very visual person. So I would write down everything and then burn it. And that really helps. I just need to consistently make time to do that. So it does really help. Oh, what did Nick say? Anyone else ready for warm weather and being outside in the sun? No, because I live in Arizona and warm weather means 120 degrees and bleh. David says, I worry about your sleep maintenance these days. You could do a vlog on your daily time management. That would be a good one. Yeah. Sleep maintenance is good. Yeah, Last says, Nick, speak for yourself. I live in Denmark, 9 months of autumn and 3 months of winter. See, Arizona has summer and then second summer and then kind of summer and then winter. And that's our seasons here. Nick says, I may live in Pittsburgh. We have all 4 seasons in one day. Missouri was kind of like that too. Frosty Poo says, it's already warm here. Oh my God, Metamark says it's a dry heat. Ugh. You know what? You come sit in 120 degrees and tell me that there's any difference whatsoever, because there's not. 120 degrees is 120 degrees, my friends. Casca, hello. Casca says, haven't had sleep issues, but what I do before bed is shut down my MacBook, put it away, walk my dogs for about 30 minutes. Sometimes I put some relaxing ambient music on with a breathing meditation. Ooh, thank you for reminding me. One of my goals this week was to do another hypnotherapy session. And I had a couple videos queued up. I had one video that super helped me out a couple weeks ago. So I want to see what else that person has to offer, because I think that it's more therapeutic for me. I'm very specific about things, what I find therapeutic, I guess. My brain's very specific about what it accepts. And hypnotherapy is really helpful for me. Sometimes I just do ambient music. I try and do at least a 5-10 minute meditation every day, but I've been trying to get into weekly hypnotherapies or guided meditations. David, I want to see Amanda do a technotherapy session. I'm not sure what that would look like, but Ben says, dude, it was 80 degrees here in Nova yesterday. Tomorrow, 33 degrees and snow. Go home, whether you're drunk. Josh says, is someone who moved from California to SD, San Diego, I'm assuming? No, South Dakota. There is a huge difference between dry heat and humid heat. I know it from experience. I grew up in Missouri, so it was very, very humid. You could practically drink the air, and the summers were just, you'd walk outside and you'd be drenched in about 30 seconds. So I absolutely understand the difference technically, but 120 degrees is still 120 degrees. I would take the 90 degrees humid over the 120 degrees any friggin' day of the week. Glow sticks, strobe lights, and repetitive beats. Ever fry an egg on the pavement in Arizona? No, but I baked cookies in my car one summer. If you put the cookies on the cookie sheets and put them up in your dashboard in the middle of summer, you can actually bake cookies. Shenanigan drums for about 30 to 45 minutes. I love it. I love it. So, I think we still have about 10 minutes because we had some technical difficulties. So I will make sure that I stay the whole hour. We have about 10 more minutes. Let's see if we can get to the 215 pledges, because I really want to be able to do more outreach this week. And I've been very excited not only to do it, but to share it with you guys, because I know that you like to hear, what we're doing and what we're accomplishing. I think that has been a very important part of the community. I got a lot of emails about how the streams just seem so much more energetic now and so much more fruitful now that we have a goal and we have people to help. And there's a couple people already that I kind of have in mind. Some are just individuals like last time that are in desperate need of medication and can't pay for it. Some are people that really need therapy, and there's 8, 9, 10 month waits to be seen. So if there's other things that I can find to do, I definitely want to do those. But I think that that's kind of my go-to is going to be getting individuals and stuff into therapy. I want to do something special for veterans though here next month. Josh says someone's in a dono on my behalf. Dono. That sounds almost like donut. It's like a donation donut. I can't sleep in heat. Me either. I have to have, ask Erin, I have to have my thermostat so absolutely specific that if it goes 1 degree above that, I can't sleep. Like I have to keep it cool in the house at night or I can't sleep. So in the summer, my electric bill is astronomical because I can't sleep if it's hot in the house. So I have to keep it cold all day to make sure that it's cold at night. Thank you, David. See Amanda dance to Daft Punk. What? I feel like I should know what Daft Punk is and it sounds familiar, but I don't know. So let's look up Daft Punk. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know what this dance looks like. This is animated stuff. Let's see. They look like they have weird little Star Wars helmets on. What is going on? Is this the next video you want me to do in the Patreon stream, David? Are you not wanting that? You got your 90s Snap Cup songs. Now you want me to dance to Daft Punk? Careful what you wish for. You remember what happened last time with the Zumba over on Patreon. The Art Star 2 says, what is the weirdest thing about you can share? I was deathly afraid of black shower heads as a kid, and they still are unsettling to me. I have no idea why. There's no context for it. I was just always absolutely terrified of black shower heads, and I think for a while black toilet seats as well. So if there were black toilet seats in public, I wouldn't use them. I wouldn't go because something about them made me feel really uneasy. So I don't know anyone else that's ever had that fear. I don't know where it comes from, but that's probably the weirdest thing about me. Yep. And I just admitted that. To hundreds of people. What is going on is a very common appraisal of Daft Punk. Francisco, she loves spiders. No, I don't. Nope, that is definitely not true. If by love you mean want to squish with my foot, then maybe. Let's see. Let's do a check real fast to see where we're at. So unfortunately, it's really weird that YouTube doesn't just calculate. So I have to go in here and look. So we're at 95 out of our 250 goal. So we're almost halfway there. Almost halfway with a few minutes left. I think we can do it. Do they have basements in Arizona? Some houses do, although it's a little bit less common. But I'm actually grateful for that because I friggin' hate basements. They give me the willies. I'm not a fan. Cascus has had a tarantula on my hand years and years ago. A friend had him. Princess goes over there posting little spider emojis and I'm going to have nightmares now. Actually, I was just... first to respond to that, I remember quite a few years ago with a female friend of mine, Samantha, we ended up going out and drinking and stuff. And this is why you shouldn't drink, my friends. And wound up at a Petco or PetSmart, I don't remember which, at all freaking hours. And I was drunk off my ass. And this was in the before time. So probably on other things as well. And I don't even remember it, but I woke up and there was a picture on my phone of me with a tarantula on my arm. And I could not shower enough. I could not do enough to get the tingling feeling out of my arms because the minute I saw the picture, I could just feel it crawling on me. And yeah, this is why we don't drink. This is why I'm taking that year sabbatical from drinking. Maybe that's what I should have led with in my why I quit drinking video is the picture of me with a friggin' spider on my arm. Amanda keeps her black shower heads and spiders in the basement. Oh, especially if there are spiders in the basement. Oh, so Aaron and I were talking last night because my parents were truck drivers, right? And he was saying that we need bananas. And I vividly remember my parents talking about how much they hated transporting bananas because oh, this gives me goosebumps just to think about. But apparently there were these big, huge, giant, furry spiders, banana spiders, that would come with the crates, and there was nothing that you could do about them. So whenever the truckers and stuff would unload, they always had to wear these gloves because the spiders would just be crawling up them. And nope. And my mom would be as far away from the truck as humanly possible because she also was arachnophobic. So she'd be as far away from the truck as absolutely humanly possible. Banana phobia. It took me a long time to be able to eat bananas after that story. Josh says, I can't eat bananas because the texture is just blah. I can't eat homemade mashed potatoes because I don't like the lumps. Frosty Poo says, I held a tarantula as a kid, but now I'm terrified of them. I think we established that Amanda is not a fan of spiders. Nope. Had a friend who had one too, woke up at a party at his house to see it on a shelf like a foot from me, turned out to be its shell, on its shell. Turned out to be its shell or molt. Jumped 2 meters in the air. Oh my God, I would never sleep again. This says, I feel bad laughing, but that's such a fun story, randomly getting a huge spider on your arm. Amanda wants a black widow. Nope. Banana spider does everything a banana spider does. Oh, Aaron says, you like my mashed potatoes? Potatoes. You're so weird. You're so weird. That's why I love you. But yes, that's because you puree them though, so they don't have those weird lumps. Lapis says, my stepdad is scared of spiders. He's jumped like 2 feet over hallways just to get by, and we laugh at that. Oh yeah, I would burn the house down to avoid one touching me. It doesn't matter that they're harmless, Josh. They're just creepy. They're just freaky. It's not even that I'm scared of spiders because I think they're going to hurt me. It's completely irrational. I know that it's completely irrational. It's just not something that I want to spend the energy to address at this current time. David says, my exposure therapy was watch the movie. Nope. Nope, not happening. My stepdad's a major arachnophobe and has a black widow tattoo on his foot, I think to signify his ex-wife. Yeah, I agree with Warrior Poet, David. That's not exposure therapy. That's shock torture. Mm-hmm. What if there was one in your car? Well, let's hope I'm not driving at the time because I'd probably just careen off the road. Art Star says, I just want to say thanks. I love this channel. You have helped me a lot. Love, Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. Mwah. I'm glad that we could help. Adam says, do not like snakes. See, that's where I'm even more weird, is because I will cuddle snakes all day long. I love snakes. I think snakes are adorable, except the one that tried to kill me and Aaron. Spiders hide and scare you. If they were like singing and you know they were around, it might be better or way worse. I don't know, because if I just heard singing coming from the walls, imagine that you just hear a whole chorus around you because they're just everywhere. I read a statistic one time, I don't know if it's true, but for every spider you see, there's 2 that you don't. So just imagine that you're hearing all of this chorus of spiders and oh my God, I'm going to burn my house down. I have a pet turtle, since we're talking about reptiles. My dad did iguana rescue and had 14 lizards at one point. I love turtles too. Turtles are cute. Amanda nightmare in a shower stall with a black shower head with tons of spiders crawling over with walls made of mashed potatoes. Funny you say that, actually. When I was younger, I don't remember the context. My family was homeless for a bit. It's not something I talk about super often, but we were living in campsites and stuff. And I remember the showers for the camp area always were just covered in daddy long legs. And this specific one that we went to, the shower heads were black and the walls were just covered in daddy long legs. And my mom went in with me and was trying to, spray water and keep them away from me and stuff. But it's one of the only memories I have from that time period because it was just absolutely traumatizing. It was one of the worst things to ever happen to me. Francisco says, you have a spider on your wall. You know what? I'm not falling for that. And I don't think Aaron wants me to burn the house down. Aaron, come kill it. Dang it, stop putting spider emojis. You're gonna give me the creepy. Now I have to go. We didn't meet our pledge goal and you've traumatized me and given me nightmares. Thanks a lot, guys. This is not conducive for my mental health because now I'm gonna be having nightmares about spiders and I'm gonna be having anxiety because we didn't meet our goal. And you guys are mean and I'm gonna cry. Daddy Longlegs like wet environments, yes. What if spiders have people phobia? Well, they probably do because we squish them. I'm allergic to politicians, yeah. Yeah, probably. Alrighty, well, I have to get off here. Thank you to everyone that pledged. Thank you to everyone for sharing your stories and your snaps. I appreciate you guys so much. By the way, if you are watching this at a later time and you want to pledge for the cause, I do leave those details in the description below, but I appreciate you guys so much. And I think it's amazing the things that we can do and accomplish as a community. And I look forward to just growing and seeing what more we can do. I will see you in a couple weeks. I love you so much. Mwah.